What's up guys, it's Nicholas, and today I just want to take a couple minutes to talk to you guys about price to performance ratio on GPUs and kind of where the sweet spot is where you're getting good performance but you're not paying a ton for that performance. Alright, so obviously the elephant in the room with this topic is Titan X. I'm going to be talking to you about the old Titan XP. I didn't look up the new Titan XP benchmarks. So we talked about that, which I currently found it on Amazon for, I believe it was like $1,152. I actually believe that's the exact price. So we're going by that. We are also looking at the EVGA 1080 for the win and the EVGA 1070 for the win. I wanted to get the same cards so that we weren't just comparing different cards to, because I mean like the Asus Strix card is way more expensive than the EVGA cards. So keep that in mind. So the way I got these numbers is I actually took the average FPS in games over, it's like 13 games, and then divided it by the current price on Amazon. So let's take a look at that. So first off, we have the EVGA 1070 for the win, which scored a 0.28. That's pretty much middle of the road. That's like the sweet spot kind of for getting the most performance for the the least amount of dollars. Wow, it's early in the morning, guys. So moving on to the 1080 for the win, it got a 0.25 price to performance. So what that means is that for, I believe it's $200 more at the moment, you're not getting enough performance more to make up for spending that extra $200. That being said, the 1080 is a great card. It's just not as good of a deal as the 1070 is for performance to price ratio. Next, we move on to the Titan X Old Pascal. And this one, when I saw this number, I was like, okay, I've got to run this again. That's got to be wrong. It actually scored a 0.15. It was actually 0.149, so I just rounded up to 0.15. Obviously, if you're getting a Titan X, either you have too much money and it's just too heavy for you to carry around, or you're a baller. I guess there really is no other option. Or you use some kind of program that is GPU accelerated so you can get more performance from those cores that are on the Titan X little p, or no, Titan X big P, I think. It's so confusing, guys. So where do I kind of sit in this whole thing? Well, I usually try to look at the 70 series. Those are usually the best value cards, typically. So like the AMD side, that would be like the 390. There hasn't been a 490. We're still waiting for that, or I guess a 590 at this point. Those are usually the best budget cards, best value cards for what you're paying to how much performance you're going to get out of them. My first card was actually a 390, and for what I paid for that card, that thing was amazing. Another thing you've got to keep in mind, though, is that cards that are a great value now because of their price to performance, next generation, so the 390 price to performance is actually the same, it's 0.28 at its current price that the 1070 is. So I believe you can pick up the Red Devil 390 for about, $269, whereas the 1070 is about $369. So I mean, $100 difference. They've got the same price to performance, but they're not getting the same performance. And that's one of the things you've got to keep in mind when doing this kind of investigative work. Obviously, as a new series of cards come out, so I bought my 1070 for $425, whatever it was at the time, $450, and that was a great deal at the time. Next year, or this year, or whatever they come out with, Volta, or whatever they're coming out with next, the new 450, 425, whatever it is, GPU, the 70 series, it's going to be way faster, or at least it's going to be a good marginal upgrade from the 1070. At least that's how it's been going lately. So you've got to kind of keep in mind that hardware gets outdated fast, especially GPU hardware. you really do commit when you buy a graphics card to, if you want to play at ultra settings, you're going to be upgrading every year. And that price to performance really shifts around depending on how much the graphics card goes down after it is released. And because I mean, we saw the Strix card, or the 1080 Strix was at like $650, I want to say, 650, something around there. And as soon as the 1080 Ti launched, now you can get it for like 500, just almost 600. So they do drop. Obviously, as hardware ages, it gets cheaper. So you can, if you're not looking to play the newest games on the highest settings, you could probably get a higher price to performance ratio by going with an older GPU. That being said, a lot of those you're not going to find new, you're going to find them used. So I'm just rambling at this point, guys. I love graphics cards. I love hardware. I could talk about this forever. Obviously, I'm not a professional. I'm not a master of this, so don't just take my word. If you're looking at buying a graphics card, look up reviews, look up videos, look up benchmarks. And then, obviously, if you're buying a used graphics card, kind of try to figure out how much it's been used, how long it's been used, if it was taken care of, if it was kept in a case where it was roasting itself to death. I know a couple people like that are trying to sell GPUs, and I feel bad for whoever gets those. But yeah, so anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Make sure you're telling your friends about the channel. Channel's still growing. Can't beat that. So, Twitter and Instagram in the description, and Amazon affiliate. Don't forget that. It helps out the channel. Helps me do product reviews for you guys, that kind of stuff. I've got a couple more of those coming up before we're completely out of stuff to do. But I've got more stuff coming after that. So, we're good. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.